We're going to measure out 3.5 inches and snap some guidelines where the walls are going to sit on the floor. Now we can cut all the wall plates and dry fit them. The front and the back are 12 feet, and we'll cut the sides to 9 feet 5 inches. If you're looking for a little more info, there's an article in the description with the diagrams that we're using in the video. We're going to start out with the easiest wall to build, which is the back wall. We're going to start by marking out where the studs are going to go on the top and bottom plates. Your first measurement is going to be 1 foot 4 3/4 inches. From there, place a mark every 16 inches. If you have one, you can use a carpenter square to easily lay out where the studs will sit. So you need 12 2x4 by 8 foot boards cut to 7 feet 2.5 inches. Let's make sure they fit, so crown all the boards and lay them out. Now it's just a matter of lining up the studs to the marks and putting 2 nails in. We're going to need some blocking for the ends, so you're going to cut a 2x4 by 8 into 6 16-inch sections. We're going to make the ends of the wall a little bit thicker so we have more surface area to attach the side walls. Now that we got that under our belt, let's work on the side walls. Both of these side walls have the same dimensions. We're going to mark the studs and king studs. Don't worry about the header support and sill plate support. Make all of these measurements where the side wall is going to meet the back wall. Even though some of these studs are cripple studs, we're going to mark them like they're normal ones. So we can tell them apart, mark the king studs with a K. For the studs, you're going to need 6 pieces of the 2x4 by 8s cut to 7 feet 2.5 inches and lay them out just to make sure they're okay. Alright, let's build those window headers. Since you're going to need to build 2 window headers, cut 4 pieces that measure 4 feet 3 inches from the 2x6 by 10 boards. To make the header, we need to sandwich 2 boards together. The problem is we need 3.5 inches, and the 2 boards together only equal 3. So we're going to cut a piece of 1/2 inch OSB and put it between the boards. Mark 6 feet 6 inches from the bottom of the king stud and attach the header we just made. Now we can attach the king and full studs. Just like everything else we're nailing together, make sure the pieces are flush. Now we need to measure, cut, and install the jack studs that'll go under the header. Cut a 2x4 to 4 feet for the windowsill. The rough opening for our window is going to be 3 foot by 4 foot, so you're going to measure 3 feet from the bottom of the header. Put the top of the window sill plate we just cut on the 3 foot mark, and measure the sill plate support and cripple stud lengths. Now you'll install the sill plate supports and cripple studs below the window sill. Last thing to take care of are the cripple studs up top there. You'll need to measure, cut, and toenail them in. Alright, so we got 3 sides made now. Let's work on the last one. We're going to start by building the top header. You're going to need 2 of those 2x6 by 12s and cut them to 11 feet 9 inches. Just like before, we're going to need some OSB to go in the center, and then we're going to nail all this stuff together. There's no way we're going to get almost a 12-foot piece of OSB, so I'm just using these window header pieces, and then I'll cut a short piece. Let's work on the header section above the door. Grab yourself the 2x10 by 12 piece of lumber and then cut out 2 5'6" sections from it. So just like before, you're going to need that OSB and then nail everything together. Now we're going to do a whole lot of cutting. This list is also in the article if you need it. While I was cutting these boards, I kind of had a squirrel moment with that top header. I happened to notice that there was a 1/4 inch hump on the top of the header, so I grabbed a hand plane and flattened that thing out. When you're laying out the bottom plate and the one that goes above the door, use a scrap 2x4 to simulate how that top plate's going to sit in the wall structure. Just like laying out the other 3 walls, you're going to use a K for the king studs and an X for the other ones. So the front wall is a little bit different from the other ones. You're going to have to lay out the top header area and the plate that goes above the door. So I didn't get confused, I used a T to signify the top cripple studs. So the last thing we got to mark out is where the top plate above the wall is going to sit on those side supports. This is pretty easy because all you have to do is line up a 7-foot 6-inch board with the outside boards. Grab yourself 2 studs and the door header and let's put it together. Use the king stud marks to attach what you just built to the floor plate. Now we're going to take all the stuff you just cut and start having some fun with the nail gun. Don't forget to crown the studs before you nail them in place. To make raising the walls a little bit easier, I put a piece of scrap OSB on each of the corners. Yeah, so I didn't quite make it on the front wall. I had to go get some help. After I got a wall in place, I used some clamps to temporarily hold them there. Once the walls were all up, the floor plates were flushed up with the edge and nailed in place. Don't nail the floor plate under the door, you'll be cutting that out later. Level out the walls and nail every 16 inches. Last thing we're going to do is put a top plate on that's going to lock the side walls and back wall together. So my time working on this project is kind of limited, and because it was going to be a while before I put the sheathing on the outside, I put some lag bolts in to hold the walls together. Them babies ain't going nowhere. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching. Barda's Adopt a Shop Helper cameos next. Please like, share, and subscribe. Get out there and make something, and we'll see you next time.